All right, let's talk about stress. It's this ancient superpower we all have. But somehow, in our modern world, it's become a double-edged sword. So how did that happen? And more importantly, what can we actually do about it? I mean, think about that for a second. An ancient superpower that is slowly killing you. That's the real paradox we're digging into today. On one hand, stress can be amazing, right? It can help you absolutely crush a deadline or rise to a huge challenge. But there's always a cost. So let's really unpack how this incredibly powerful tool is supposed to work. Okay, so what is stress, really? At its core, it's an emergency program. That's the whole point. Its one and only job is to jolt your body out of its normal, balanced state, out of its comfort zone, so you can survive some kind of immediate life-threatening danger. It's all about one thing: survival, right this second. And to really get a handle on this, we've got to go way back. I'm talking way, way back. Let's take a look at how our bodies were originally built to deal with a true life or death moment. So, let's set the scene. Imagine it's 50,000 years ago. Your ancestor, let's call him the bear smasher, is chilling with his tribe, and suddenly, boom, a starving saber-toothed tiger leaps out of the darkness. This is the exact moment our stress response was made for. Ur's brain instantly flags that tiger as a critical threat, and just like that, the superpower kicks in. And what happens next is this beautiful, perfect survival sequence. It's a cascade. First, the brain senses the threat. Check. Then, bam, an adrenaline rush hits the system for immediate, explosive action. We're talking heart pounding, lungs working overtime, senses sharper than ever. If the fight drags on, cortisol, a slower hormone, jumps in to manage the body's fuel for the long haul. And then, and this is maybe the most important part, once wins and the threat is over, the body flips a switch. It goes into what's called rest and digest. The emergency is officially over and the healing and recovery can begin. See? Perfect system. Now, that whole system is an absolute masterpiece for fighting off a saber-toothed tiger. But what happens when the tiger isn't a tiger? What happens when it's an angry email from your boss? That's the problem, right? Our world changed at lightning speed, but our biology, it got left behind. And that created this huge, dangerous mismatch. And this really lays it all out. Look at the difference. Ancient stress was physical, it was intense, but it was short, it was rare. Modern stress, it's psychological and it's constant. It just never seems to end. But here's the crazy part. Your body's response is exactly the same. It doesn't matter if it's a tiger, rush hour traffic, a work deadline, or just scrolling through bad news on your phone, your brain treats all of these modern threats with the same life or death seriousness. How many of these do we get a day? Well, it can be dozens, literally dozens of these little micro-stressor moments every single day. Those little pings of anxiety you get from a work email, a news alert on your phone, each and every one of them is kicking off that ancient survival program. A lot of the time, you probably don't even notice it's happening. And this right here is the real heart of the problem. You see, with a modern stressor, there's no big fight and then it's over. The angry email is still sitting in your inbox. The deadline is still looming. So we never get to that critical rest and digest phase. The emergency alarm just stays on for days, for weeks, sometimes even for months. And that, my friends, is what we call chronic stress. So what's the big deal? What's the price we pay for having that emergency system running 24/7? Well, to put it bluntly, it's the slow, steady destruction of pretty much every part of your body and your brain. Let's start with your muscles, for example. They're always clenched, always braced for a fight that never comes. So what happens? You get that constant back pain, those sore shoulders, the aching neck, and yeah, those absolutely pounding tension headaches. Sound familiar? And what about your heart? Your heart and your blood vessels, they were not designed for this kind of constant red alert. Being in high gear all the time just wears them out. It literally damages the blood vessels and, you guessed it, massively increases your risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. It's serious stuff. Okay, this one's wild. Your immune system gets totally scrambled. Think about it. If you're fighting a tiger, your body doesn't care about a common cold, right? So the parts of your immune system that fight off germs get turned down. But the parts that cause inflammation to heal a wound, those get cranked way up. The result is chronic, damaging inflammation all through your body. You're getting sick more often, and you're inflamed. It is literally the worst of both worlds. And then there's your brain. Chronic stress literally rewires it. It starts to favor quick, impulsive, knee-jerk reactions instead of calm, thoughtful, wise decisions. This means you actually get worse at solving the very problems that are causing you stress in the first place. You end up making these rash choices that, guess what, just create even more stress. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Under chronic stress, you are simply a worse version of yourself. It's a horrible, vicious cycle. The more stressed you are, the worse you are at thinking clearly, which makes it even harder to escape the very situation that's stressing you out. It's a trap. Okay, I know. It all sounded pretty bleak. But here's the good news, and there is good news. Stress doesn't have to be the enemy. It can be your friend. The whole key is learning how to use the good parts without getting bogged down by the bad. It's not about getting rid of stress. It's about taming your superpower. So the very first step is to just pause and ask yourself this one simple question. Is this stress response I'm having actually productive right now? Look, if you're cramming for a huge exam or you're about to run a marathon, that stress is a real deal superpower. It's helping you. But if you're stressing out about traffic or something you have absolutely no control over, well then it's just doing damage. And this next point is so important to get. Relaxation is not laziness. It is not some luxury or indulgence. It is a serious biological necessity. It's the action you have to consciously take to flip that switch, to manually turn on your rest and digest system and tell your body, hey, the tiger is gone, we're safe now. All right, so let's talk strategy. Here are 4 concrete things you can actually do. 1, actively relax, and I mean actively. Put it in your calendar like a meeting. Go for a walk, see your friends. That's your rest and digest time. 2, practice mindfulness. Things like meditation and yoga are scientifically proven to help tell your brain that an email is not, in fact, a tiger. 3, and this might be the most powerful one, remove the stressor. Take a hard look at your day. Get rid of the little things, like those toxic social media apps, and maybe even think about the big ones, like a toxic job. And finally, 4, ask for help. Seriously, talk to someone. When your brain is stuck in that stress fog, an outside perspective can be a total game changer. Look, at the end of the day, life is always going to throw stuff at you. That's just a fact. But now you understand how this ancient system inside of you works, and that knowledge, that gives you power. It gives you a choice. You can let stress run the show and burn you out, or you can learn how to use it, how to recover from it, and how to come out stronger on the other side. So the real question is, stress is your superpower. How are you going to use it?